So today I want to talk about my experience using the Tesla Autopilot for my Model Y in the rain over the past few days. So over the past few days, it's been raining a lot in California. I was up in Southern California. It rained like 4 inches in Los Angeles, and I was driving 140 miles daily to my job. And I was basically using Autopilot to test what it was like in the rain, especially in heavy rain, and my experience doing that. So for me, I remember driving to work. It was 70 miles going up a mountain essentially, and it was raining the entire time. And what I learned with Autopilot is when the road conditions are too harsh, Tesla will actually limit the autopilot and auto steer to 60 miles per hour. Um, and that's just the safety feature that's built in. So if you want to go faster than 60 miles, then you have to turn off autopilot auto steer and then drive. But because it was raining pretty heavily, to be honest, I think it rained like 2 inches that day, the whole drive. And in Southern California, people aren't used to driving in the rain. So people were going a little bit slower. Like, I'll be honest, I think 60 was probably a good speed going on the autopilot. And for me, I don't like driving in the left lane or the right lane because that's where water tends to pool up. So if you run into a puddle, it's a little bit scary. But because the Tesla Model Y is a little bit taller than the Model 3 or the Model S or regular sedan, it felt pretty comfortable. I'm used to driving my BMW, which is very low to the ground, so if I hit a puddle, you can hydroplane. So I was basically using Autopilot at 60, and what's nice is if it's raining really heavy, it'll automatically kick you down to 60. So let's just say it wasn't raining, and I can autopilot whatever speed you want. So if you want to go like 70, 75, 80, whatever you go, that's fine. But then once it starts to rain heavily and the road conditions are bad, the Tesla Autopilot will kick in and say, oh, detecting hazardous road conditions or rough road conditions, and it'll limit your speed down to 60. So limit down to 60. But then if the rain clears up, it stops raining, then the autopilot will kick back to what the speed was that you programmed it earlier, right? So for example, if let's say you program at 80 and it starts raining really hard, it's going to limit the speed down to 60. And then when the rain just stops, then the speed will go back up to 80 for the autopilot. Right, so that's been my experience. And honestly, it was raining really hard. It was really dark, and usually for me, because I have like astigmatism in my eyes, it's hard for me to see the lines, especially in SoCal. They're not used to rain, so like the roads, the lines on the roads may not be as clear. But the autopilot, I felt like it saw the road very clearly, and it followed the path very well. Like, I never had issues with using the autopilot with navigating in the roads. The downside, like I said, is you're just going 60, but if it's raining that heavily, I think 60 is a pretty safe speed to go at. And like I said, if you want to deviate from that 60, you have to turn off your autopilot and drive yourself, right? So I think overall, I thought the autopilot did very well in the rain. Like, honestly, I thought it drove better than me in the rain. It drove better than a lot of people in the rain, and it never like had any glitches like while in the rain. So it was very nice to see. It rarely rains in California, especially in Southern California. So it was nice to kind of test my Model Y autopilot in the rain. So, overall, I thought I did really great. I would definitely use it again. It made my drive less stressful. Yeah, usually I'm really stressed when it's like raining heavily in SoCal and I'm driving. I have to focus more. But with the autopilot, I felt like it was still a very, enjoyable process. I just made sure I was in one of the middle lanes, not the most left or the most right lane, and I just set my speed at 60. And like I said, if for the most part, most people were kind of going around 60 because it was raining so heavily. Let's talk about the auto wipe feature. So, I was a little bit disappointed with the auto wipe feature when driving my Tesla. So basically, I set that to auto wipe. So once your windshield kind of piles up, so let me kind of show you. In my car, I'm just sitting in my car right now, but once rain starts to hit your windshield, typically that's when the auto wipe will start to kick on. And what I didn't like was sometimes I felt like the auto wipe waited a little bit too long before I wiped my screen, so I would just manually kind of press the left stock button. So there's this button right here. I just would press this one time and manual automate a wipe so I can see it. So I felt like I was doing that more than I would like. And since when it was starting to rain really hard, I felt like the auto wipe wasn't fast enough, so I just put it on manual mode and I put it on like level 3, right? So, you could go to your, I'll show you. So just click on your controls and then go to controls, and then you can set, mine's on auto, but I feel like during heavy rain I was using like a 3, to be honest, because I was getting frustrated with it. So, Autopilot, I was amazed in the rain. I would give it actually an A in the rain, minus the limitation of 60. The auto wipe, I thought it wasn't keeping up fast enough. I had to manually do it, so I didn't really enjoy that feature as much. So I was kind of toggling a lot between the auto feature versus like just going on 3. And then also something I didn't mention earlier was like when you're driving in the rain, the whole autopilot, it's based on visibility of the mirror, right? So if the mirror is clear, it can drive well. If it's not clear, it'll kick off the autopilot. So if you're driving in like the left lane or the second to left lane, and let's just say the other side of the freeway will hit a huge puddle, it splashed my windshield, right? And my windshield got hit with a bunch of water, and at that point the autopilot kicked off, right? Because the screen lost visibility, the camera lost visibility, so automatically the moment my car got hit, it would flash red, say take over the wheel immediately, and then I had to take over the wheel immediately. So that's the only time that the autopilot didn't work, was when I just got splashed. Let's say you're driving behind like a huge truck and that truck just splashes you and covers your windshield. It's scary, right? Because all of a sudden this bunch of water just hits your windshield, makes this loud noise, and then all of a sudden your car is gonna beep, do that emergency beep. It's gonna flash orange on your screen, and then you're gonna have to like take over the autopilot, right? So that part freaked me out a little bit, but now that I expect it, I'm not as scared. And like I said, I try to avoid driving that left lane for that reason, because I don't want to be splashed. But other than that, I didn't really have much of an issue, right? Like, I thought the car saw very well. It stuck in the lane very well. It was able to navigate. I mean, I was going up a mountain, right, which has like, it's windy, and autopilot did well. My car didn't hydroplane or anything, because I was only going 60, and I wasn't in the left lane, so there's no puddles. And overall I thought I did a really great job of autopilot in the rain. So hopefully you found some value from my experience of using the Tesla Model Y. I have a 2023 model, standard range, autopilot in the rain, and hopefully it gives you some confidence in using autopilot in the rain. And like you said, I thought that Tesla autopilot in the rain drove better than most other people. Like, a lot of people were driving way too fast. Like, I saw some people going like 80 in the rain, and that's really dangerous. That's how you hydroplane. Yes, the 60 is a little bit slower than I would like. I like I said, if it was really the worst conditions, it was 60, but if the conditions improved, it would increase the limit to 65. If it improved again, it will go up to 70, and eventually back to your original speed that you set at, right? So Tesla kind of auto-adjust the autopilot speed based on the conditions. So that was kind of my experience using that. So overall, let me know if you have any questions down below. Please place any comments. Happy to answer any questions, and maybe share your experience of using the Tesla Autopilot in the rain. I'm in California. It doesn't rain as hard as other states. And please share this video and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, and have a good one. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.